Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, and today I'm going to be talking about young people and knife crime, the probable reasons why it might happen, and thoughts and garnered information. I want you to imagine a young person's world, not just the home, not just the school, but the streets, the corners, the unseen pressures of everyday life. It's early evening, the streets are quiet, but not safe. Behind closed doors, families are worried. Children are anxious, and somewhere out there a knife is being carried. It's easy to see the headlines: teenagers with knives, blood on the streets, violence spirals out of control. But the headlines only tell you half the story. They don't tell you about the poverty that narrows a young person's choices. They don't tell you about the trauma that shapes their decisions. They don't tell you about the fear that drives them to carry a weapon in the first place. Some children carry knives because they feel they have no choice. They have seen friends hurt. They have heard threats whispered in the shadows. They have learned, sometimes in the most brutal way, that the world they live in can be unforgiving, and that survival means preparation. Peer pressure is another force that's hard to see from the outside. Gangs promise belonging, identity and protection. You walk alone and you're vulnerable. You join, or at least appear loyal, and suddenly you have status, recognition, even respect. The knife becomes more than metal. It becomes a shield, a symbol, a ticket to survive in a world that feels stacked against you. And yet behind every headline there is trauma, abuse, neglect, loss. Some of these children have witnessed violence at home. Some have lost someone to street crime. Some have lived with fear as constant companion. And when trauma goes unaddressed, when there is no adult to help process it, anger festers. Impulse outweighs caution. Empathy is crowded out by survival instincts. Social media adds fuel to the fire. Conflicts that once might have been private now play out in public. Videos, posts, stories, all watched and judged by peers. Reputation becomes currency, and reputation can demand action. A fight, a display, a threat. A knife is no longer just protection. It's a badge. Yet we must remember these children are still children. They are learning, struggling, reaching for identity, safety and dignity in ways we may not understand. Most are not violent. Most will never carry a knife. But a small minority, shaped by environment, fear and circumstance, will. And that minority can change the whole story, for themselves, for the families and for communities. The consequences are severe. One child caught in a spiral of violence can face a lifetime of prison, trauma, or early death. Families live with grief, shame, and fear. Communities are haunted by the knowledge that a single moment, a wrong word, a misstep, a challenge can end in tragedy. But there is hope. Every intervention matters. Mentors, youth clubs, after-school programs. There are not many of them, but safe spaces matter. Counselling, the mental health support can provide alternative paths. Listening, understanding and guiding. Showing young people there is another way is as vital as policing. Early engagement saves lives. Early engagement builds trust. Early engagement gives children choices they didn't know existed. And this is where society must act. Knife crime is not a moral failing, it's a symptom of inequality, of trauma, of neglect, of fear. Punishment alone will never solve it. Only understanding, opportunity, and care can break the cycle. We must also see the courage in some of these children, courage to walk away, to resist the pull of peers, to choose learning over violence, kindness over anger. Every young person who chooses another way is proof that even in the darkest circumstance, light can break through. So next time you hear a headline about knives on the streets, don't stop at fear. Ask why. Ask what could have driven a child to feel that metal in their pocket is the only way to feel safe. Ask what we as a society can do to give them something else. Safety, belonging, hope. Because if we fail to see the reasons, the patterns, the human stories, then we fail the very children we fear. And if we fail them, the cycle continues. Let us remember, these are not monsters, they are children. Children shaped by circumstances, by fear, by necessity. Children who deserve guidance, protection, and a chance to live differently. And in giving them that chance, we protect everyone, their families, our communities, and the future of a society that believes in justice, empathy, and hope. When we talk about knife crime among young people, it's not just statistics, it's lives, families, communities. There are practical ways we can intervene before the tragedy happens. We can listen and engage, create spaces where young people feel safe to talk about fear, anger, or threats. Sometimes a conversation can save a life. Mentoring matters. Positive role models, whether teachers, youth workers, or older community members, can show alternative paths to respect and belonging. Safe spaces and activities, sports, art, clubs, or after-school programs give kids purpose, routine, and community. Boredom and idleness can be dangerous allies of negative influence. Then there's mental health support. Trauma-informed care, counselling, and early intervention helps children process experiences without resorting to aggression. And then there's education and awareness. Help children understand the legal and life consequences of carrying knives without shaming them. The goal is guidance, not punishment alone. Some parents, they go on a rant, why are you doing this, blah, 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 and they're not listening to the children. We need to listen to the children. The children have a voice, and we need to listen to it. Every small action, a listening ear, a mentor, a club, can be the turning point in a child's life. Prevention is about connection, care, and opportunity. Knife crime is frightening, and it demands attention. But the most powerful way to stop it is not fear or punishment alone. It's understanding, compassion, and creating opportunities where children can feel safe, valued, and heard. Because when children are given that chance, communities are safer, futures are brighter, and the headlines can finally tell a different story. And I hope you found that useful, and please share.